Hello. I rarely do these in the evening, but I have a little extra time right now, and so I thought I would do this. This is video 7, I believe. So, imagine you're sitting in your favorite spot in nature, and there aren't many people, and maybe there are deer or some animals that you like, and the sun is shining in whatever capacity that suits you. And you're looking out into this beautiful piece of nature, and it's calm, and it's basically perfect the way you would want it. And as you look out, you might say to yourself, all's right with the world. Everything is as it should be, right? Going back to the poem. So that's the attitude in that moment. Now, I would say it's very easy to have that attitude, to have that view when everything externally is quote unquote perfect. In other words, aligned with what we prefer, what we like. But if that's the only time that we can have that view, then I would say that's a very, very limited uh, it's a very fragile and tenuous piece. It's a tenuous hold on the attitude. If one can then walk out of that beautiful place, drive the car, drive through traffic, uh, end up in the city surrounded by homeless people, dilapidated buildings, honking, people being nasty to one another. Maybe you see a little child being beaten by the parent, and you look upon all that and say, everything is as it should be. All's right with the world. Then I would say that that view, the peace, is stronger because it's not dependent on things being according to how one thinks as they should be. They already are the way they should be, is the attitude. So if we walk around thinking that we can fix the world, we're here to fix the world, and we can change others, then it's almost impossible to see some things and say, all's right with the world. So that attitude of, I can change other people or I can fix things. I mean, certainly we can fix certain things. So, for example, if there's some litter on the ground in the mountains, on a mountain trail, we can pick it up and stick it in our backpack. But I'm talking about if you're walking a trail and there's trash everywhere. Well, even that, one can organize a group and pick up a lot of trash. But then if one starts thinking these people who litter all the time, they need to be changed. They need to be educated, God damn it. Then the peace is tenuous. So similarly, if our mind is settled and our hearts feel open and there's a sense of ease in our body, we might look inwardly and say, all is right with the world. But again, if that's the only time that we can say things are as they should be, that's a very weak and tenuous kind of peace. What if we have a headache? What if we have heartbreak? What if we have tension and pain in our body? And even then, or let's say we have anger or jealousy or whatever it may be, whatever emotion, loneliness, whatever the anxiety, if we can still say everything is as it should be, then that's a much stronger view. It's a much stronger peace. But what gets in the way of that? I would say it's this attitude that I can change myself. But if I can drop this attitude that I can change myself, and I drop the attitude of I can change others, then I can allow others to be, and I can allow whatever is going on inside the self also to be. So, for example, if there's anxiety, I can allow for the anxiety to be without any need to fix it, to change it, to remedy it, to heal it. I can just allow for it to be. And so then the mind stays relaxed. Because the mind stays relaxed, despite all these feelings and thoughts and sensations, despite all these outer perceptions that are occurring because of what's happening out there, the mind can stay relaxed. There's nothing there's nothing for me to change out there. There's nothing for me to change in there. I can allow all things to be. And so I would say that that's at the heart of how I think of how one becomes relaxed, how one stays relaxed. One drops the delusion that one can change others and one can change self, and instead allows for others and self to be as it is. There's nothing to fix. So we oftentimes think that in meditation, we want to calm our minds and we want our hearts to be open. And some people do yoga and they're like, oh, I'm going to open up my chest so I can have more love in my heart. So when they have the love in their heart and their minds are calm, maybe they feel great about themselves. Maybe they feel good. And they're like, wow, everything is good as it is. I can accept things. I can accept myself. But again, I would say that's not a very strong acceptance because it hinges on the interior conditions being a certain way. But suppose later someone, I don't know, hurts you or hurts someone that you care for, and now your heart's unsettled, it's disturbed, and you're worried and you're thinking of things. And even when your mental state and your emotional state is quote unquote disturbed, to be able to understand and view it as everything is as it should be. All is right with the world. There's a world going on in here. All is right with the world out there. All is right with the world in here. Then that, I would say, is a much stronger view that can support peace or relaxation. So I think this might be the summary or culminating chapter of this series. I counted the number of minutes. I think at this point, I'm probably around 80 minutes. That's an hour and 20 minutes on this one question. I hope you've enjoyed it. If I think of other things, I may add another video to this, a sort of addendum. All right.